couple of cannibals are having lunch. One turns to the other and says, "Man, I hate your mother." She says, "Try the potatoes then." A book fell on my head the other day. I only have myself to blame. When life gives you melons, you might be dyslexic. I just got fired from my job as a set designer. But I left without making a scene. Why are pirates called pirates? 'Cause they are. My wife asked me to stop impersonating a flamingo. I had to put my foot down. A blind man walked into a bar, and a table, and a chair. My therapist said that I've got a preoccupation for revenge. We'll see about that. My wife found out that I replaced our bed with a trampoline. She hit the ceiling. Pavlov walks into a bar and the phone rings and he says, "I forgot to feed the dog." My wife called out to me from the other room the other day saying, "Do you ever get a shooting pain in your chest, like someone's got a voodoo doll and they're stabbing at it?" I said, "No." She said, "How about now?" My doctor gave me 1 year to live, so I shot him. The judge gave me 15. Problem solved. I told my doctor that I broke my arm in 2 places. He told me to stop going to them places. What do you call someone who's happy on a Monday? Unemployed. I just found out the company that makes yardsticks won't be making them any longer. Why should you never fall in love with a tennis player? Because to them, love means nothing. My wife told me I should do lunges to stay in shape. That'd be a big step forward. Two windmills are standing on a wind farm. One says to the other, "What's your favourite kind of music?" The other says, "I'm a big metal fan." Why did the baker have smelly hands? Because he needed a poo. Last night I was attacked by a bunch of clowns at a car park. I won though, because I went straight for the juggler. What does a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common? They're both Paris sites. Did you hear about the church that serves noodles at communion? They're ramen Catholic. A guy walks into a lawyer's office and asks the lawyer, "Excuse me, how much do you charge?" The lawyer says, £1,000 for 3 questions. The guy replies, "Blimey, that's a bit expensive, isn't it?" The lawyer says, "Yes, it is. Now what's your 3rd question?" How did the blonde get hurt while ice fishing? She got ran over by the Zamboni. I've just had the police at the door saying that they're looking for a man with one eye. I said to him, "If you use both of them, you'll probably find him faster." What does a metal frog say? Rivet, 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 rivet. When I was in college, my chemistry professor told me I had to write a 1,000-word essay on acid. Unfortunately, my pen turned into a gorilla. Did you know that 90% of bald men still own a comb? They just can't part with it. My dog had a puppy with no legs, so I named him Cigarette, because every night I take him out for a drag. If a husband and wife die at the same time, they both get transported to the cemetery separately in a his and hearse. Aladdin has been banned from the 21-28 Olympic Magic Carpet Race. He tested positive for performance-enhancing rugs. I've trained my dog to bring me a glass of wine on command. It's a Bordeaux collie. I went to a fancy dress party dressed as a screwdriver. Turned a few heads. Why didn't the crab cross the road? It used the sidewalk. Can you believe that they're coming out with a movie about a mobile home? I saw the trailer last night. I went to the doctor with hearing problems. He said, "Can you describe the symptoms?" I said, "Yes. Homer's a fat dude and Marge has blue hair." I went to the hairdressers and said to them, "Can I have my hair cut like Tom Cruise?" So they gave me a cushion to sit on. I don't get why Marvel don't use the Hulk to promote them anymore. He's basically just one big banner. Did you ever hear about the guy who dipped his balls in glitter? Pretty nuts. News. The inventor of the throat lozenge has died today. There will be no coffin at his funeral. Bigfoot is often confused with Sasquatch, yet he never complains. I told my wife that my uncle can finally rest in peace. She asked, "Did he die?" And I said, "No, my auntie did." I said to my wife the other day, "Your underwear's way too tight, you know." She said, "Well, wear your own." So I was showing my friends the first floor of my house when one of them said, "What's upstairs?" I said, "The stairs don't talk, mate." The CEO of IKEA was just elected Prime Minister in Sweden. He should have his cabinet together by the end of the week. My neighbour knocked on the door this morning at 2 a.m. and said, "I can't sleep." I said, "Oh, well, this is perfect. We've got a party going on. Come in." My wife used to hit me with stringed instruments. If only I knew she had a history of violins. Two ships, one carrying red paint and the other carrying blue paint, have just collided. A search is on the way for survivors, but both crews are believed to be marooned. I tried to come up with a carpentry pun that I thought would work. I think I nailed it, and nobody saw it. "Push harder!" I shouted at my wife, who was in labour. "Screw you!" she screamed back at me. Bit harsh, I thought. It's not my fault the car broke down on the way to the hospital. An elephant gets on the bus and sits next door to the man. The man turns around and goes, "Wow, this is the first time I've seen an elephant ride the bus. To which the elephant turns round and says, well, it'll be the last time as well, because tomorrow my moped will be out of the garage. My parents have fallen behind on payments for my mum's hearing aids, and she doesn't even know where she's put them. They're in her ears. My daughter asked me the other day where I always get my chocolate from. I told her, I always have a few Twix up my sleeve. Did you know that women turn into good drivers? So if you're a good driver, be careful of women turning into you. I found a wooden shoe in my toilet today. It was clogged. How come? The Hulk's pants don't rip when he transforms. The experiment altered his genes. What do you call a Frenchman wearing sandals? Philippe Flop. Yesterday I was washing the car with my son. He said, Dad, can't you please just use a sponge? A man walks into the zoo and the only animal there is a dog. It was a Shih Tzu. A woman who was 3 months pregnant fell into a coma. When she woke up, she asked the doctor, how is my baby doing? The doctor said, it wasn't just one, you had twins and your brother named them both. The woman was like, oh no, my brother's an idiot. What did he name them? The doctor was like, Denise. And she was like, oh, that's not bad. What did he name the boy? He said, the nephew. A man is driving home when he gets a call from his wife. She says, I've just seen on the news there's a maniac driving the wrong way on the motorway. The guy replies, one guy? There's hundreds. I knew a guy in high school who knew what every single symbol on every single word map meant by heart and could tell you immediately on request. Guy was a legend. I tried to explain to my 4-year-old that it's completely normal to poo yourself. He still makes fun of me though. Told a joke during a video conference, but no one laughed. I guess I'm not remotely funny. I picked up a hitchhiker the other day, and he said to me while we were driving, well, you're brave. How do you know I'm not a serial killer? I just laughed. I said to him, do you know what the odds of having 2 serial killers in one car are? Last night someone stole my limbo stick. I mean, how low can you go? When my wife is sad, I just let her colour in my tattoos. Turns out she only needed a shoulder to crayon. What are an ambulance's pronouns? We, you. I played a blank CD at full blast last night. The mime next door was pissed. A man is walking through the woods and he finds a suitcase. Inside the suitcase he finds a mother fox and her 4 cubs. He immediately calls animal control to report the issue. Oh no, that's terrible, says the animal control worker. Are they moving? The man replies, I don't know, but I guess that would explain the suitcase. Why don't blind people go skydiving? Because it scares the hell out of the dog. Sandy's mum has 4 kids, north, west, east. What's the name of the 4th child? Sandy, obviously. What did the photon say when asked if she needed to check a bag? No thanks, I'm travelling light. What do you call Chewbacca when he has chocolate stuck in his fur? Chocolate chip Wookie. Why does Darth Vader always sound so angry when he breathes? He's venting. What do Japanese kaiju monsters like to eat? Raw men. How do you break up two blind guys fighting? You shout, "My money's on the guy with the knife." To sell security alarms door to door, and I was really good at my job as well. If the people weren't home, I'd just leave a brochure on the kitchen table. What happens if Americans swapped from pounds to kilograms overnight? There'd be mass confusion. How do you milk sheep? Bring out a new iPhone and charge £1,000 for it. Why did Wally wear stripes on his t-shirt? Because he didn't want to be spotted. Why did Thor lose his lightning powers? Because his dad grounded him. What did Chuck Norris do when his parachute failed to open? He took it back for a refund. In Hawaii, it's illegal to laugh at jokes loudly. You have to keep it aloha. Did you know the theory that no two people see colours the same way? Surely it's a pigment of the imagination. It's always important to set up good vocabulary. If I'd have known the difference between antidote and anecdote, my best friend would still be alive now. Do you know the phrase, "another man's trash is another man's treasure"? It's a horrible phrase to use when you find out you're adopted, though. Who were the greenest presidents in US history? The Bushes. Why are friends a lot like snow? If you pee on them, they disappear. My grandfather told me that our generation relies on technology too much, so I unplugged his life support. What's the difference between a baby and a sweet potato? About 140 calories. The findings in a major new study report that humans eat more bananas than monkeys, but I honestly can't remember the last time that I ate a monkey.
I heard another rumor that you were bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.